Thanks for joining here in this room. It's the last breakout session for today. Will be followed by the final plenary session at 5 o'clock. So we are continuing a session which is a bit, let's say, at the side of this Covenant of Mayors Investment Forum, because it covers very much the resilience side, the adaptation side. My name is Bernd from CINEA, head of sector for the LIFE sub-program for climate action. So we are running quite a number of projects or co-financing projects in climate adaptation. It's around 100 cities, not 1,000 solutions like you. So I'm already looking at you. Some of you may have wondered why are they coming with a uniform. I think you are on the way from Amsterdam to Cape Town with a solar flight, and they landed in Brussels just for this event to present the 1,000 solutions, or that was the origin in a way. So Solar Foundation is maybe known to you. Bertrand Piccard maybe even more known to you. So the foundation is having together with various institutions, cooperation kind of agreements, also with the European Commission, to promote and to bring forward sustainable solutions and to really implement them on the ground. So I'm very happy that you are here and that you will present on one side the setup of how you support cities and how you engage with cities, but on the other side also a city example, and the City of Amsterdam is here, so the place where you started in Schiphol probably this morning, or you took the train, I know. So ELEONORE from LANDE, you are the team leader here, or the pilot with the co-pilot here. So it's a team of 4 persons, NATHALIE, HEMELEERS, I assume. And then we have from the City of Amsterdam, SACHA, STOLP from the city, and supported by, I have to read it, sorry for this, ROZANNE van VLIET, who is the director of the International Water Management Solutions. But I think when you present, you will have a presentation organized between the 4 of you to cover a bit the dimension of the engagement here. So I would like to hand over to you. As you have seen in the other sessions, 30 minutes for a presentation, followed then by about 15 minutes question answer. But then we have to finalize the session here very sharp on time, because everybody has to move to the ballroom for the final closing session. So I would like to hand over to you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bernd, for this beautiful introduction. Thanks everyone for being here on this inspirational moment at 4 o'clock. We promise we're going to keep it a bit interactive and fun. I'm actually, does this work? Yes. Just to present to you, I'll be speaking quite shortly, just to introduce what we do with the foundation, and then it will be SACHA and ROZANNE who will really tell the story from the city side. I would like to start with a video.
Every dream in history was considered impossible until it had been accomplished. Behind each achievement, explorers have invented the future by going beyond the frontiers of certainties. They have broken the rules, challenging common assumptions to discover new solutions. Today, solving the environmental crisis seems out of reach. We need the same pioneering spirit that has in the past allowed mankind to achieve the impossible. This is how we will find the solutions to change the world. Bernd Piccard, the visionary behind Solar Impulse, wanted to demonstrate the incredible potential of renewable energies and clean technologies. Impulse was built to carry this message around the world.
Hello, Solar Pulse. Hello, Captain Picard. I am inspired by your pioneering spirit.
You know, Mr. Secretary General, if an airplane like Solar Impulse can fly day and night without fuel, the world, of course, can be much cleaner.
Hotel India Bravo, turning final, 02 right.
More than an achievement in the history of aviation, Solar Impulse has made an achievement in the history of energy. Let's take it further.
What can be done in the sky can be done on the ground. Replacing old and polluting infrastructure by modern and efficient technologies is logical as much as ecological. Convinced the protection of the environment will become a reality only if it's economically viable, Bernd has launched the second phase of his action, committing the Solar Impulse Foundation to identify 1,000 solutions that can protect the environment in a profitable way. Developed by startups and corporates, these solutions reduce pollution and improve efficiency in the fields of water, energy, construction, mobility, industry, and agriculture for a better quality of life. Assessed by independent experts and labeled by the Solar Impulse Foundation, they represent the market opportunity of the century, generating jobs and clean growth. In the near future, Bernd will travel around the world again to present this unique selection of solutions with one goal: encourage governments, businesses, and institutions to go beyond compromise and set more ambitious environmental targets and energy policies. Here again, the spirit of exploration has a role to play in achieving what many people still consider impossible. And you can be a part of it.
Okay, so you can be a part of it. So probably you understood now that we're not a pilot anymore. But that why are we here then today on the EU Covenant of Mayors event? Wait, let me just go here so I don't stand in front. What Bertrand said, and you saw it a bit when he was speaking to Ban Ki-moon during the Paris Climate Agreement, was, it looked like science fiction when I was up in the air. But actually, we are living in the past. All the solutions that made this flight possible already exist today. So what we created is a label to prove that these solutions exist. So we were looking for 1,500 solutions that are and profitable and good for the environment and technologically scalable. So we are collaborating with EY to give a label to solutions. Now, what is a solution? A solution can be a product, a service, or a process in these industries. So buildings, waste, food, water. And the idea is basically, why are all these things existing and why aren't they the norm yet? Why aren't they scaled up yet? So we have now collaborated with a lot of different players around the world, but as you can see, not global enough. It's very European. And the idea is to say, okay, solutions exist. That's how we were able to fly around the world. We have proved now that we have today, I think, 1,550 labeled solutions. So we checked, are they indeed good for the environment? Are they profitable and are they scalable? And now we're on the implementation phase. We are working with city officials like you to help implement the solutions. We produced the guide for cities around the themes of energy, building, mobility, waste, and infra. So it's a bit confusing that there's still a Solar Impulse airplane on my blouse, because actually it's these sectors that we are focusing on. And the idea is to say, okay, very nice, these solutions exist, but actually, how were they established? What was the collaboration? Where did you get the money from? And it's more that the part about the collaboration than the solution in itself, because I can imagine that you don't have the time or energy to listen again to another solution pitch, but you can and want to listen to another city that explains how did they implement it. So that's a bit the idea of this solution guide for cities. We have them here, by the way, so you can check them out later, but we also have them, of course, online. And the idea is that there are 200 case studies explaining for each solution that has been implemented in a city, how was that collaboration actually established. And the whole purpose is to replicate, so that everyone can copy this and make it the norm that we all implement efficient solutions. So skipping this, just so you know, there's an exhibition around the City of Tomorrow, which I don't really like the name because actually it's the City of Today. The solutions already exist in Paris, where you can see the solutions. And to end with, what do we as Solar Impulse do for city officials is we can help you find solutions. So if you have a specific challenge, for example, urban heat islands, we can help you find solutions. You can learn from others, so we can match you to other cities. We can empower your organization for change, so we can come in and mobilize your people to that change is possible and inspire like everyone, you can be a pioneer of change. And we can do a bigger call for solutions to find solutions for you. And as a last one, we can organize business meetings. So we bring together public buyers, private buyers, and we match them to innovators. So we really have sort of a step up to concrete actions. Now, we have here the City of Amsterdam and Rozanne, who are really going to tell the story of a real case study. So I give the, this is us, this is Nathalie, who is also there. Reach out to us if you want to collaborate with us. And I give the floor to SACHA and Rozanne.
Thank you. Shall I start with? Yeah. Were you also, working? I've heard today a few things. You. Now. Action. But where do you start? But were you also so wondered that there was still meat at the lunch? And that's where it starts. There was meat at the lunch, which is incredibly insane for the audience who is here. Why didn't the organization just ask the hotel to serve another menu? It's very simple. If an organization like the European Union and the Conference of Mayors ask for a new menu, the cook who is underneath here buys something else than he does on a regular basis. And this is the whole idea where a city, you, can also start tomorrow. Can we have the next slide, please? Or do I have to do it myself? That's probably, no? We're going to have something new? No? Is it going to start? Look, it's working from itself. It doesn't matter, actually. Because the way we use love, like our cities, is actually everywhere the same. If you're living in Brussels, or you're living in Amsterdam, you're living in Tokyo, wherever you live, we use public space, our sports facilities, but also our schools, all at the same way. We do whatever the building is necessary for. And so, funny enough, we maintain it on the same way too. Should be working. Yeah, look, that's us. Well, the urban space, I see, it doesn't differ much. But how is the mayor of tomorrow going to judge what we are buying today? And therefore, the whole investment cycle behind it. As a City of Amsterdam, I am a big buyer in infrastructure. Annually, we spend over 250 to 300 million euros just in doing whatever we did. So, I can say you today we are buying meat. Why are we still buying meat? It's incredibly insane with such an amount. We are the fourth buyer. Do you know how big this market is for maintaining infrastructure in the whole of the European Union? A guess? No? It's approximately 1,500 billion euro. And why public infrastructure is owned by municipality, for 80% the assessors of public infrastructure are local and regional communities, and we are always buying the same thing, very polluting asphalt, fertilizers, artificial fertilizers, and whatever we're doing, we are stucking the whole market behind it. Because our cooks, our contractors, will go to the factories and ask for the same old solutions that they did. So what did we change? And the same things count for sports. Very interesting. I buy every 10 years new sports pitches. Every 10 years.
I have 555 sport pitches, and I like to make them artificial. Graciness. But on the other hand, I need it for my city because I want to have a lot of citizens do sports. But now I'm buying one of the most polluting solutions without considering the amount of heat stress that it concerns for my city. Every 10 years, again and again and again and again, keeping it the way it is. 40 million euros annually. So, as we are sitting here, we know we share the same future challenges. We are here right now in the CO2 emissions globally. And that means that we are facing non-traditional safety issues. And that's the fourth word I want to bring in. So it's you, and it's action, but it's also keeping our cities safe. The word is safety. And that's why it's a public assignment. So what do we see in the Netherlands? We see overfloods. We see damage by stormwater. I see also drought as a problem, and it's having severe damage, especially in the heat stress. Over 500 extra deaths in a year that it was just warm, and it are the vulnerable citizens who are suffering these. So what do we do in our Future-Proof Asset program? We invest in solutions and in new solutions with our normal assignment. And today we have an example of how we do this with the sport pitch. And that's why I'm very glad that ROZANNE is here. She will take us into what's the idea and the results of our project City Sport. It was co-funded actually by a national fund. But we can consider how can we enlarge this and how can we use European funds for that. And then we will show a movie what it means when you try to collaborate in this kind of innovation project based on your own assignment. So what we eat as a city ourselves. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sasha. So my name is Rozanne. I'm the International Business Development Director of Permavoid, which is a water management company that I will tell you very briefly about. First, back to Amsterdam, because like Sasha said, Amsterdam is dealing with a lot of challenges at the moment, as we all are, but especially sports pitches. What are we dealing with? Well, people are moving to cities, also to Amsterdam. So that means that more people want to be able to use sports facilities. So that has led to another interesting development. Actually, the natural pitches, the amount of natural grass pitches decrease and the amount of artificial pitches increase. The reason for that is quite simple, because natural grass pitches are more sensitive, so you need more playable hours. But there's another very big difference between synthetic turf and natural grass pitches, because during hot summer days, synthetic turf pitches can become really, really hot. That's not only a problem for the city, but also for the people who are playing sports on it. So instead of offering clean, healthy sports facilities, we have all these big areas that are collecting heat instead of natural grass pitches who are normally evaporating. So that's a challenge we are really dealing with. The international sports market, the synthetic turf industry, is also dealing with another challenge, which is the rubber infill. We have to get rid of that. In 2030, it's not allowed anymore. So there are several challenges we are dealing with when it comes to synthetic turf pitches. So what could be a solution? And that's where we come in. The solution can be water. We have a lot of free water, which is called rain. And via cooling, so evaporation, it should be possible to create synthetic turf pitches that are behaving like natural grass pitches. So that's what we do. What we say at Permavoid and Dutch Blue, we are consortium partners of TKE project City Sports. We say, collect, when it rains, collect the water and reuse it to cool your city. We do this, for example, at stadium pitches where we move air and water beneath the pitch. But in South Africa and India, for example, we collect water when it rains and it's connected to a well, an external well, where we collect water and turn it into potable water for the community over there. But what we also say is, the roof is another great example of gray area you can use to improve city life. So for example, this is a running track on top of a building in London, and it only makes sense to use that valuable space in a city like London. So for TKE Project City Sports, we were really looking for how do we get from the left, which is collecting a lot of heat, to the right. So we store the water and we have to find a way to make it evaporate a natural way. So now I will show you the City Sports video.
En we zoeken eigenlijk steeds vernieuwing in het product sport. En met name de sportvelden. Voor ons is het TKI-project van groot belang. Omdat wij hier veel met sport bezig zijn, maar ook naar vernieuwingen zoeken. De gemeente Amsterdam die heeft meegedaan omdat wij eigenlijk zoeken naar oplossingen voor de stad. Wat wij veroorzaken met kunstgrasvelden is gewoon dat het te warm wordt. Dus we hebben echt gezocht naar opties en mogelijkheden om daarop te gaan lossen.
Het mooie aan het TKI-project is dat je samenwerkt met productontwikkelaars, onderzoekers en eindgebruikers. Daardoor hebben we eigenlijk een hele mooie keten kunnen maken van labonderzoek, proefvelden op het marineterrein en uiteindelijk een bijna full-scale kunstgrasveld bij Laan van Spartaan.
Toen het TKI-project City Sports werd opgezet, was het voor ons allereerst natuurlijk belangrijk om een koelend kunstgrasveld te creëren. En daarbij was het voor ons erg belangrijk om een kunstgrasveld te ontwikkelen wat ook daadwerkelijk voldoet aan alle normen van de sportbonden. Wij wilden een alternatief vinden die gezonder zou zijn voor de sporter en de stad.
Het concept is dat we water wat dus opgeslagen is, dus regenwater wat in die bergingslaag is gevallen, dat dat door capillaire opstijging weer terugkomt uiteindelijk bij het oppervlak. Daar zitten dus allerlei stapjes tussen en daar moet contact zijn. Die capillaire nalevering via de rug van de mat naar de invul van de mat, dat was eigenlijk een hele grote vraag van gaat dat wel goed?
Het is uitvoerig getest op verdamping. Dat systeem is vervolgens in het laboratorium bij Kiwa Isasport uitvoerig getest op de sporttechnische eigenschappen. Je wil natuurlijk niet alleen maar een veld creëren dat koelt, maar het moet ook qua sporttechnische eigenschappen voldoen. En toen dat door de keuring kwam, is dat trainingsveld geïnstalleerd bij Laan van Spartaan in Amsterdam.
Vanuit 70 graden warmtestress. En het bleek dat we nu eigenlijk terug waren gekomen tot het afkoelen van zo'n veld. Wat bijna hetzelfde is als een natuurgrasveld. En dat is natuurlijk een ideaal eindresultaat.
En het is natuurlijk fantastisch om te zien dat door de resultaten die we hebben behaald binnen dit project er inmiddels een sportveld is gerealiseerd in Londen op een dak. Maar zelfs helemaal in Japan een trainingsveld met dezezelfde technologie. En dat is waar we het voor doen.
So I think this is a great example of what can be achieved when we collaborate. So now our question to you is, how can you part of our solution?
We have some slides. Yeah. So what you see is, as a city, we participated as a partner within creating new innovation. And by doing this from our very cool business, it stays very nearby. So we have the achievement, we want to be a resilient city, but we don't want to be that in policies. We don't want to write books about it. We want to have it achieved in our city. And what's the benefit for all? It's for us very boring, is that we get new procurement regulations and tender procedures. Very boring, but that's what we do in this city. For knowledge institutes, because you always participate with an independent third one who can measure, is it working and why is it working? Because that's what I need for standards. And on the third place, for the private sector and the businesses, it gives them the opportunity to create a new business case based on facts. So you can scale up. So what did we learn? And because we are all meat lovers here, I have a meat example. We learned that we can take different roles, but that it starts with ourselves. Because why? If you ask, and you ask for new solutions, it starts today. And what do you realize? I don't know if anyone knows Japanese, but it says, if you ask right, the duck will come with the green onion on his back. That's true. Because they want to always have green onion soup. That's what they love. So if you ask right, it works. And why? What does it work for? It works to give you everything that you want to have in a sustainable business case. So not only a profitable thing, but also something that works for people and for the environment. But it gives you the story to scale up. Inspirational capital. So the thing is, we don't have very long anymore. We are here on Earth like humans for 200,000 years. We have 2,000 years, a Western-orientated society here in the European Union. Only 200 years, an industrialized society, and we have 20 years to solve our biggest problems. And that's not very long if we don't buy other things. So what we should do, ask for the new thing, innovate our socks off as soon as possible in a triple helix, so work together, and then create a new normal and scale up. So now we have the questions that we want to discuss with you. Do you like what you've seen? Can be yes or no. Can it be something for your city? And how do we use your own expenses and investments to create a new normal? And what do you need to scale up, and how can we help you? It's to Bernd.
Thank you.
So it's very difficult for me, now to get into this dynamic. So, the floor is open for you. I wonder, what is your reaction? The questions are there.
I want to say first, wow. you really wowed me with your energy, but the idea, the solar thing. But this is more like down to earth, I think, although I want to go solar, so yay. I have a very practical question, well, two actually. Once you've already gotten, of course, you astroturf, which is terrible and horrible, and it burns all your organs, not to say your skin. Can you just remove it, install your new technology, and then put it back?
Yep. Yep. Yes,
so perfect. Yep. So that's very easy already. The second, I guess this can be funded by European funding, because in small towns like me in the south of Spain, where we can just not afford to have, we cannot really afford to have sports fields, like natural sport fields, but we can have gold fields. Mm-hmm. Bravo, because tourism is money is the boss. So can we don't have much resources, right? Apart of tourism. So I'm a vice mayor and I don't have the money to do this, although I would love to do this for my people, let's say. Yeah. What kind of funding can I get for that? Would it be like in New Horizon? Would it be, what kind of...
Well, I think in the end, and that would be in the ideal situation, you're combining The things combine assessments. So usually you go to the place where you have problems, not only with heat stress, but also with your sewer system, or that you have to collect the rainwater. So reuse different resources. And yes, you can also make a bondage between tourism and the things that you want to achieve for your own children. Usually you can see the companies are looking for this kind of co-funding purposes. So what we do is we make it a whole. So in the end, everybody benefits from having a resilient Amsterdam, because that makes other investments worth coming through our city. If we don't act like this and we don't see it as an integral approach and just we want to have sports, it doesn't work. This is also a resilient measurement for area where we have an overflood otherwise in the case of severe stormwater. So it's actually combining all those assessments to one. And then ask, I don't want to have a turf sport pitch, no, I want to have a healthy sport pitch. So that's the difference in question. It's never small. And then, of course, you can combine money. And also the European has several funds for getting to become a resilient place to be. Yes. But it's acting a bit more smart and taking all your urgencies together. I think, and it's not a public assignment actually to keep the city accessible for tourists. It is having a healthy place for your citizens. And yes, very nice when the tourists can enjoy it too. See, like it in a different way.
Yeah, thanks. I think that's, I mean, you haven't put a price tag to it yet in comparison to business as usual. Is that something you discuss or is not an issue?
Well, what we do is we innovate with 10% of our assignment, because then we can take, it's a substance amount of money, but we can take an extra risk and also a learning procedure for our own organization, because otherwise my colleagues doesn't understand new techniques, so we have to practice that with them. In my innovation program, I also have a bit of learning money, because it seldom goes wrong. But you can have some extra learning experience while you are doing things. Sometimes it doesn't work at once. We also had some missed points when one of the fuels goes a little bit bubbling and it doesn't work. But then you figure out this is the way it should work. So it's experience, try and error. But incorporate learning money. And that's, again, we incorporate not only money from the water board for us, to have it combined with sport. So yes, it looks a bit more expensive, but if you see what the benefits are for all, it is not more expensive than doing what you did because what we did was wrong.
And I see you do the combination between more resilience, also in terms, I mean, what I learned was in the Netherlands, water comes from top, from bottom, from left and right. And this is what you try to also to manage in one way. And I think this is where you would need to explore. And in Spain,
and if I do this wrong, if I don't manage my assets right, my lifespan will be much shorter. So you have to calculate in lifespan. I want to have a functional, healthy sports pitch for at least 10 years. I don't want to remove it after 5 years. For infrastructure, this counts even for longer. If I have a road, I want to keep it at least healthy, safe and accessible for 50 years. So the investments I'm doing right now counts. Because otherwise I probably have to throw it away after 20 years and renew it. When you think about resilience, about sustainability and your own assignment as you have as a city, you always should think in lifespan and then calculate back.
And just briefly responding to your question whether Horizon or a European fund can fund something like this, I think the fund is, or what European funds can do is exactly what you do yourself. I mean, you have your fund for learning, you have your fund for taking risk. And this is what, for example, the LIFE program is trying to do, to contribute to risk. I mean, we are talking about a budget of 2 million. In a bigger city, this is maybe the cost of a bit of a complex crossing, road crossing, and not more. I mean, you cannot change the entire city and make now the city resilient. But what you can do is you can try something out which may work, which could be of a benefit. This can be funded through European funds, and to convince the business sector, to convince the politicians to use then follow-up funding or to divert or to take the priorities differently. But we had another question from you. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Luigi Lopiparo from Technopolis Group, and I also am the matchmaking coordinator of the Smart Cities Marketplace, which is another EU initiative led by DG ENER, but we cooperate also obviously with CINEA and others. I'm not here now obviously to talk about what the Smart Cities Marketplace does, which is very similar, but more about ask a question about the solutions that are advertised. I think it is important, obviously, to explore. It is important to find solutions that are also tailor-made to the different problems. A city may have an abundance of water, another drought. So everything needs to be tailored. But it is important to have a transparent, intelligible information. There is not one fit-all solution. What are you have a label, I have understood. If you can maybe spend a couple of words just to explain how you ensure that there is a life cost assessment is carried out for the solutions that are advertised. Just intuitively, I don't see the benefit for the environment of replacing turf with plastic that I put below the grass. Even if it is more expensive, why aren't there other solutions? I mean, that's why I'm saying it is important to understand, and probably you have it, also data that give evidence that lead to the advertised environmental benefits to be actually achievable by a city that have limited resources and time, and not necessarily all the knowledge about the alternatives, would drive them more easily to make a choice to go for this or another solution is there. So transparency, I think it is important. The European Union has labels like the EU Eco Label, the EMAS for other things, but for products and services as well, that guarantee beyond any doubt that to the highest environmental standards have been respected for those specific products and services. There are many other labels around, but the added value recognized unanimously for the European ones is this transparency, this quality. There is no greenwashing. So this is basically, I think, the question, what guarantee of comparability there is to these standards for these solutions that are advertised. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask your answer your question. The thing is, this is why it gets so stuck within the European Union. It is not that you don't need transparency, you need it. But we need to start and have a little bit of confidence that in these chaotic times in which we hardly know how severe the climate will change and how much effect it will have on my people, that we take action. And by talking about that you need to have the best of the best of the best of the best, people get insecure. And what we figured out is my people, and I have 1,300 people working for me on the Department of Engineering, they are so scared to take a next step that it doesn't work anymore, that we buy every year exactly the same. And that's so polluting that we're now facing all these threats towards the European Union. So what we need to have is a little bit of compassion with each other. From the very hard things that we're doing, so the technique is more or less the approach, what will help. Make mistakes. I can encourage you, do something and make a mistake. We make mistakes all the time, but we are working. And that's actually the difference about the policies that are right now not encouraging other ones to take next steps. So I'm very sorry. Yes, it's very transparent what we're doing, and you can have all our mistakes, but it will never be the best thing.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say that there is a procedure in working with each other within programs like this. It's not that you can just say that, well, it's a good product, let's find out whether it's good or not. So we are very careful with the partners we are working with and are very transparent to each other about the learnings within the project. So I think, yeah, I think that's more or less what we can, how we can answer your question.
Yeah, but it's actually the same thing as today. We asked the cook for whatever he's cooking forever. And as a European Commission, you shouldn't do that. You should encourage everybody to cook vegetarian. Because we are here and we have to take next steps and we have to learn. Yeah.
Maybe just to answer your question from the label side, we are not only the solar airplane, so we label the solutions, and there's indeed an environmental assessment part. So we do a mini LCA, and I can show you all the different steps of the methodology. So I think maybe it's a separate conversation about the label, but I like Sasha's answer for now for action. But I can explain you more about how we actually take all the steps of the assessment. That we also share with our adopters. So the moment that someone might be interested in a solution, we share the whole document that is provided.
Good, we have a question here.
Yeah, my name is Marika Roša. I'm working in a consultant company in Latvia. I really appreciate your speech, and I relate a lot because my son is playing soccer. But I'm coming from a Nordic country, from Latvia, so we have an issue with -20. And after the COVID started, the soccer was only sports which you can actually do outside. So I was wondering if the technology, how does technology reacts to the -20 degrees, -10, -20. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so nothing will happen to the technology when it's -20. That's fully tested. But it is good to say that, of course, the way we build a pitch in Amsterdam is not the same way we build it in, for example, Mumbai, India. For example, the rainfall over there is way much extremer, so you need a different type of build-up. So this teaches us that it's possible to build different, but we always look at the local circumstances and see how we can optimize the system. So, for example, if you need more water storage or less, we tailor-made the whole system, but the principle about evaporation for cooling synthetic turf, that remains the same. Thank you.
Good. There was another question here.
Hi, yeah. So you just say that you are using synthetic turf, but I don't actually know what this material is. Sorry for my ignorance. But like then it's like some kind of plastic, no, right? Because it's going to be banned, so.
No, so you have the. Sorry. So you have the carpet, so the green, the grass, and you have the infill. So the infill makes it possible to play sports. If you fall, it's not too hard, for example. And the rubber infill, so the black crumbs, they will be banned. So this system is made with natural infill. So that's a sand infill, and that's fully natural. And that's what we promote. Yeah. And there are no stupid questions, so please ask.
More questions?
Thank you for the very inspiring, all the three things that you presented first, the solar impulse and then Amsterdam's example. I'm from the city of Turku, Green Transition Unit. My name is Nina Ruuska. And first I was going to ask about something about the biodiversity, but someone already raised this question up because for what we do in City of Turku, we try to target at the same time biodiversity and circular economy and climate adaptation, and therefore maybe go more towards the not like plastic areas, but anyway, we have the same problem as in Latvia, that we have more colder weather in most of the year. So, but anyway, the research shows that even in the city like Turku, the summertime heat is really like lethal, not only problematic, but raising the death of the people. But I'm going to ask about procurement, because SACHA said in a nice way that it's boring, but but the results are inspiring, as we heard. And in the city of Turku, we have rather new procurement strategy, and it has the ecological criteria embedded with it, and the procurement units are trying to develop new criteria for biodiverse, good in a sense biodiversity or circular economy and climate change, this kind of criteria. So do you do a lot of this sort of development, and do you peer learn with other cities? Because I know that not one unit and one city can solve everything. It should be, but do you do this peer learning, and do you have any advice on these kind of topics?
Yes, well, the major thing is what we did in our procurements, that we do long stretches contracts with contractors. And that was something new. Before we had contracts on projects, and now we say, no, we know what our city is, we know how much we have to assign, we know how much money it will be, we divide our cities in pieces, and that's what we tender for a longer stretch term, and in that we incorporate not only resilience targets, but also the way that we want to work with them, and that's trust-based, and that's based on an innovative approach from both sides. So it requires something from us in the way that we talk to our contractors. So it's not you have to do things and I want to have the results. No, it's how are we going to figure out what we need? And we incorporate knowledge institutes within our primary assignment. So things like city sports, it's always monitored on different beneficial sites from different universities. And that makes it very interesting. So we're figuring out what is working for Amsterdam. And yes, if it can be beneficial for all, we share it. And your circumstances are a bit different than ours, but your goal to protect your citizens and keep a healthy environment, they are the same. So sometimes solutions need to be a little bit tweaked. I'm looking for solutions that's working for Amsterdam, and therefore I tender a new approach, which gives me the opportunity to innovate with a very conservative sector. And I give them the trust and the respect they deserve also. And that's why we have a more vulnerable relationship, which is very funny. Because in the vulnerability, you get new ideas. And we can share, well, probably I think it works like this. Or we have people working on the practice side. And they say, well, I've done that and I see the butterflies over there. And there are much more butterflies than on the other spot. And then we can incorporate the Knowledge Institute and say, why do we have more butterflies over there than over there? And then we slowly get to know our city better and better. And we know the solutions that works. And yes, of course, in these kinds of circumstances, we try to inspire other ones to take action too. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I need to stop the discussion here, although it's lively and we could continue. And I really enjoyed this very practical approach. I think that was what I've seen today, the most practical, down-to-earth presentation here, which I think is also very valuable to put the, to connect the label, the inspiration down to the boring procurement. And this is where local authorities are at the end. I mean, that's where it's actually happening. And yes, I will provide feedback on the meat part. You will probably have a survey where you can fill in because it's also, I see the same way. So thanks also for this vocal comment on this. Yeah, I think we stop here. Eleanor, thanks for pulling this up, the whole thing. Roxanne for giving insight in the technical details. And then from the city, SACHA, I mean, great and inspirational for all of us. So I say a round of applause. Also Nathalie, who joined. And then And then we move over to the ballroom. There, I think only 5 minutes left, so not much time for mingling. And so please proceed directly if possible. Grab a coffee or water in between, and then we see each other 5 o'clock there. Thank you.